Hi, today I'm going to be making a short rib of beef and horseradish pie, and it's one of my absolute favourites. It's a real beauty. I'm making this pie to help raise money for the Halow charity, which is an organisation designed to help young adults with learning difficulty lead a more independent life. Let me tell you how this pie came about. A few years ago we used to roast a rib of beef on St George's Day, and the last time we cooked it on St George's Day we didn't sell any. And it was crazy because it was a beautiful piece of beef. Somebody said, wistfully, if it had been in a pie, it would have flown out. If we could get that wonderful roast rib of beef kick in a pie with rich gravy, horseradish, caramelised vegetables, etc., we could be on a winner. And that's exactly what we did. Let me take you through the ingredients. First thing we've got here are short ribs of beef. Now, these basically come from the top side of the rib. They are absolutely delicious, full of marbling, and they're absolutely packed full of flavour, and they're less than half the price of a full rib of beef. By the way, these short ribs are also known as Jacob's ladder, and if they come from the butcher in a slab like this as opposed to a cut rib like this, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is take a knife and cut through the bone to separate them. I'm going to fry these ribs of beef now in some beef dripping. I'm going to just toss these ribs in lightly in the flour to give the sauce a little bit of body.
Wading in your waters, treading for time. Wading in your waters.
All the beef's now out, it's lovely and brown and golden, so into this pan we're going to add the carrot, onion and celery, soften that 5 or 10 minutes.
Splintered by the word to which he clung, soon I'll fall to the cold.
The vegetables have softened nicely now, they've got a nice little bit of a tinge of colour, so it's time for me to add the red wine and the port and reduce it by a third.
Wading in your waters, treading for time. Wading in your waters.
Boiling off the alcohol takes away the bitterness and it just leaves you with the flavour. And we're just about done, so the thing to do now is to add the beef stock.
Wading in your waters.
I'm going to bring the beef stock to the boil, and when I've done that I'll add the garlic, thyme and bay leaves. And then put the beef back into the casserole pot here. So now what I have to do is cover it with some parchment paper, press it down slightly, and then plug it in the oven at 150 degrees for around about 2 hours. Smells absolutely great, beautiful. So what I'm going to do now, before I take the meat out, I want to just skim some of this fat up.
If there's doubt in your mind from here on out,
Let's just take all this beef out of here now, put it into this dish, and then allow the beef to cool down before we take it apart, you know, into nice bite-sized chunks. Really tender, it looks absolutely lovely. All the vegetables that were in the casserole, stewing for the last 2 hours, are in there to make the sauce. And we're going to pass that through this colander, basically to just purify it, concentrate on the sauce, get rid of all the other bits and pieces, all the twigs from the thyme, etc. And then adjust the seasoning and add the horseradish.
gritted and bruised his body was from the storm, splintered by the word to cheat.
Right, let's taste this sauce. Clean spoon. Nice flavour. Just want to reduce it a little bit to give it a bit more body and a little bit more concentrated flavour. I'm happy with the sauce now. It's got a nice concentrated flavour. Just to finish it off, I'm going to put 2 tablespoonfuls of horseradish sauce in here. This is just the commercially bought stuff, if I'm honest. Not a problem. It's going to taste great. Whisk that in. I mentioned earlier that the carrots, onion and celery that was in the sauce, that was in the oven, was there to make the gravy, but I want to replace that now. So what I've done is I've caramelised some shallots in some butter and stock, and also I've done some glazed carrots. So I'm going to put that into the sauce before adding the beef. I'm taking the meat off the bone. It falls very easily off the bone because it's beautifully tender. Cutting it into nice cubes, really. Nice, lean, delicious cubes of beef. All the meat's off the bone now. I've cut it into cubes and I'm going to put it back into the sauce. So here we go. Masses of meat here. I started off with 3 kilos of skirt of beef, and I imagine probably off the bone, with all the fat removed, there's probably about a kilo and a quarter. So normally my recipes are 6 or 8. I reckon this will probably feed 10. There's no point in just doing a small quantity, so there's a lot here, but we're going to enjoy it. Right, if you don't know by now, my favourite pastry is suet crust, self-raising flour and shredded suet, flecked with fresh parsley. So I'm just going to roll the pastry onto the pie. Just need to trim this pastry around the edge.
Gritted and bruised his body was from the storm, splintered by the wood to which he clung on.
Okay, pie's now going to go into the oven at 200 degrees C for around 45 minutes.
Too cold to keep beating on, and I'm waiting in your waters, treading for.
By the look of that golden crust, I think it is.
Waiting in your waters, treading for time.
So last year for the Halow charity, I created a Normandy pie which celebrated the French leg of our 250-mile cycle riding in 48 hours. So I thought this year I'd celebrate the English side. So this is our English representation from the pie front. Try this pie because I think you'll like it.